All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Sung, and today I'll be presenting my final research proposal for this course. Um, my project is titled Gentrification and Displacement in U.S. Ethnic Enclaves. In this presentation, I'll walk through the motivation for my project, my research question and framework, what past studies have shown, the data I'll be using, my research design and regression model, my hypothesis, and finally, I'll close with my conclusion. First, the motivation for this study comes from observing growing urban inequality, especially in areas like Orange County, where redevelopment pressures are visible. Ethnic enclaves, neighborhoods like Chinatown, Koreatown, or Little Saigon are especially at risk. This is not just about housing affordability, but also about cultural identity and community belongings, which makes the issue both social and economic. This study asks us simple but important questions. How does gentrification affect displacements in US ethnic enclaves? I'm approaching these using the framework of structural inequality, which tells us the redevelopment often worsens housing insecurity. I build on Newman's method of systemic analysis and on prior gentrification research that has looked at both residential and cultural displacement. Previous studies have shown three main themes. First, gentrification often leads to rising rents and redevelopment. Second, displacements occurs in multiple forms, residential and cultural, and even through small business closures. And third, scholars have documented the loss of community identity and the instability residents face when redevelopment pressures grows. My project builds on these by focusing specifically on quantifying those effects. Data. My data comes from two main sources. The American Community Survey, which gives me information on rent burdens, housing tenures, and household mobility, and the Princeton Eviction Lab, which provides eviction filing rates. Together, these data sets allow me to look at both housing pressures and actual displacement. My target population is residents of ethnic enclaves in major US metropolitan areas. My project uses a cross-case quantitative design. Displacement is my dependent variable, and the gentrification is my independent variable, while the controls are race, income, tenures, and local policies. This design allows me to test how gentrification relates to displacement while reducing bias from other factors. My regression model looks like this. Displacement equals beta sub zero plus beta sub one, which is gentrification, plus race plus income plus tenors plus policy plus etc. Um, this model tests the causal relationship between gentrification and displacement. The control reduce bias and allow me to compare across different cities and contexts. I expect to find that higher level of gentrification are associated with higher level of displacement. I predict the strongest effects will come from rent burdens and rising property values. But I also hypothesize the tenant protection, like rent control, can moderate these effects and reduce displacement even in those gentrifying communities. In conclusion, gentrification is both an economic and justice issue. Displacement threatens not only the housing security, but also the cultural identity. This study contributes by quantifying causal links between gentrification and displacement and provides insights that can inform urban policy and strengthen tenant protectors. These are my reference list, and that was it. Thank you for listening.